The boiler. That's having a bit of a lay down. Oh, come on, focus. One thing about this phone is just annoying. Right, the boiler. The guy at Station Road Steam had a look in there and he said that's never had a fire in it. So I can only believe him because he knows more about it than I do. Right, hang on, I'll just turn it over. So there. That does move a little bit. And I could pull it out, but I don't want to because I don't know what I'm doing. And it might upset something in there, I might upset something in there that I shouldn't. So I'll leave it until I'm a little bit more educated. So that is essentially what I have bought. And the next thing is to, I imagine, get some plans, some more information. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to slip this into this video somewhere. I want to say thank you to Model Engineering magazine and their forum, and Mr. Keith Appleton, who must be the god of steam engines on YouTube. First of all, Model Engineering forum. There is so much on there about simplexes that I haven't got through it all yet. But thanks to their forum, sort of centralizing all the information, it makes it easier for somebody like me to collate the information. Just a note on forums though, anybody on any forum anywhere, please, when you start a new thread, please bear in mind that somebody in a couple of years' time might be looking for information that is contained within your thread. So, for instance, in there's a horn problem. The top of the axle horns. So don't start a thread saying my horny problem or I have a problem with the horn, because in 3 years' time, somebody might be looking for Simplex axle horn problem and they're not going to find it. And it's going to be lost forever. So you'd be doing us a service if you started the thread. No, I would be doing you a service. I would be doing everybody a service. I'd deserve a medal if I started a thread that said Simplex axle horn problem or something similar. You want the word simplex and the word and axle horn in it, because if I didn't get anything on simplex axle horn search, I could just put in axle horn search and I'd find it, and because it might be relevant to another model. So that's one thing. Right, Mr. Keith Appleton, well, what a professional. But he's not a professional, is he? But his videos are superbly produced, a lot of information. And like me, he doesn't appear in his videos. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to see up his nose either. But I know what it's like to set a camera up when you do something, and it is a bit of a pain. So it does go to a lot of trouble. And the information that comes across is valuable and very, very clear. So well done to him for that. And he has made a series of a Simplex converted to a prairie tank. And there is 106 videos. For goodness sake, that's a lot of work. I'm currently on about number 6 or 7, I think. So I'm working my way through them. So maybe I should leave this alone until I've seen all 106. But anyway, that's the end of this edit. It's banished to the floor for a bit. I was waiting until I'd watched all Keith Appleton's videos on the prairie. And also the Midlands Model Engineering Exhibition's coming up next week, and I was going to go there, and I wasn't going to touch it until I'd been there, because I'm partly scared of it anyway. So, but I have started, because I was going through my box of bits and I found this. Now, I did mention a Juliet that I used to have, and this was my start of a rolling road for the Juliet. So I thought, well, actually, I was going to buy one of those pre-made rolling road bits for that. But I thought, well, that'd be a waste, wouldn't it? So I found another piece of that angle. So I need another set of 2 so I can split this up and make this into a rolling road. So that's what I've done. I've stripped it and I've took the bearings off and everything, and I'm just measuring. And here's my project folder. I always do a little bit of a project folder, so I've got something. So I've just got to fill in the details and crack on with it. So work has started already, and I'm using my new table, new old table, new ancient table. First thing I've got to do is try and drill some holes the same distance from the deck as them, which you can see I've already done. But there's a bit of a tail. A bit of a shame. Now, they say don't throw anything away. My oldest son did an apprenticeship, an engineering apprenticeship, and the first thing he made, or one of the first things he made, was a scribing block with a scriber, which would have been ideal on here. And I had it for ages and it was going rusty, and I said to him, do you want this? And he said, no, throw it away. And I said, you can't throw it away. It's your apprentice piece. And he said, oh, well. And I can't find it, and I can't remember what I've done with it, and I think he's actually got it. But it's a shame because I could do with it. Ideal. So what I've had to do is improvise as we do, don't we? I've got a couple of pieces of wood and my scriber. And I did it without one hand holding the phone. And it was too high, so I filed a groove in it. Perfect. Drilled, done. There you go. Right, while I'm here, a quick tour of my workshop, so you know what I'm dealing with. Axminster mill drill. I bought that years and years ago while I was still driving, with the intention of using it when I was retired, and I'm now retired, so it was a good bargain, I think. Cheap Chinese. I bought cheap Chinese machine tools before. The first one I had was a drill many years ago, a pillar drill, little one, and I remember taking the top off and finding sand in the top of the rough casting of the main block, and I cleaned it out, and then I cleaned the bearings out, and it was still in service now. My brother-in-law's got it, and it must be about 30-40 years old. And so with this, we got this from Axminster. It was a hell of a thing. And my engineer mate and I stripped it, and we took the main pillar to pieces, and in there's a couple of taper bearings, and they were put together quite badly, and they'd got that horrible waxy, what they call grease, but it's more like wax, and it wasn't really doing much. And we disassembled it and reassembled it properly so it's all nice and smooth, and then obviously re-greased it, and it's been superb. Speed change up here, you know, it's the old technology. And I put a couple of DROs on. I put one down here that helps out, and one here. Now this is very crude, but when I use it I have to put my finger on there to hold that down, and I don't mind doing that. I could put a weight on there or organise a spring or something, but to be honest, if I've got my finger on it and I know it's more positive, but I haven't got one going backwards and forwards. Some tools. These are the tools, you know, the engineering tools. I got this from an auction, quite cheap. I think it was about 25 quid. Obviously I've got that, which is a big roundy thing. I've got the indexes in it for there, and I cannot remember how to use them. V-block in there, dials, crap. This light was a bargain from the engineering, the model engineering show at Ali Pali a few years ago when I went, and a bloke was selling these. Quite expensive they are as well, and he got this one in a box. I think it was at the back of his store. Somehow I found it, and it was broken, and doesn't seem to be a lot wrong with it. It was the stand at the bottom, was broken. And I said, what's happening with that one? And he said, if you can have that for a £5 if you want it. So I got it for a £5. And I made that mounting for it down there. I welded it and done. And the reason it's just there is strategic, because it'll go over there and it will come over here. And now over here is not relevant now, but it used to be here. I used to have a Boxford lathe just here. A really old one that's been in the school and been all crashed and all sorts. But it was Imperial. So I had a bit of a rejig a couple of years ago. Obviously got my bench grinder there. And I got rid of it for reasons that will become apparent. I've got decent lights up here. That's a 4-foot tube up there, which is out of date because a couple of years ago I put all these 6 LED buttons in, brighten the place up. Nothing else of relevance in it. You can see, look, I used to do cars, valve spring compressors. I used to rebuild engines and stuff in here. That's why there's 2 brick pillars down here. When I had this garage built 40 odd years ago, we bought a lottery ticket from Leicester City Football Club lottery ticket, and we won £500. And so we had this garage built. It's about 1979, and I'd been designing rooms, so that's why the door is there, not in the corner. Because I dug the footings out. I was young then. I dug these footings out myself. We had the concrete delivered by a company called Mini Mix. They deliver the concrete. They don't fit it. You have to do it yourself. So we did that ourselves. I got a brickie in. The brickie's name was Shirley. And he come, and I designed this garage, and he said, when he'd done it, he said, do you want me to put the door in the corner? I said, it's a lot easier. Everybody has a garage in the door in the corner. I said, no. I said, because when you put it in the corner, you lose all that wall space. So all that would be there, and I wouldn't have a bench there. You just lose it. So that's why it's there. It's been designed that way. Those brick pillars were so that this bench would be strong enough to hold an engine. But obviously them days are gone now. I've got these in here. That door at that end has actually been sealed to keep the drafts out, because there'll be no more cars in here. There's the boiler. I suppose I should do something on that. I've got all these shelves in. This is for the boat, really. Woodwork. I've got jigsaw there. It's not very good. That was a second hand. This was new, plain the thickness again for the woodwork for the boat. So eventually that will be going. Oh look, let me put that there. There's a drum machine under there. That's a 35cc model boat engine that is currently on eBay, and that'll be going soon. It's selling as well. That was another thing I was thinking about doing. Welding helmet down there. There's all my copper bits from previous projects. There's some copper pipe in there. Look, it's going to come in useful. A bit more copper in there. Some more kit up there. There's my comedy heroes up there. Now this Warco, I bought this a while ago. Talking about cheap Chinese, but Warco, I think that's cheap Chinese, and I believe that Warco rebuild them and check them over. So they've done basically what I've done on that one, only they've done it and charged me for it, which I don't mind. It's Imperial, it's got variable speed, it'll do me. It's lovely. And that's about it. Oh, the auction, another auction. I do watch auctions, not eBay, but we've got a local auction, and sometimes this stuff comes up. And there's a little slip roller here, look, that came up in the auction. It was only about 20 quid. It's amazing what comes up sometimes. Talking of welding, I'll edit this. Back up here is all my kit. Under there is my famous welder, which has got thousands of views on YouTube. Under here is my hand with machine tools. There's a Proxen file there, look. I got that and a power chisel, Proxen, and they're about 125 quid. They were 25 quid for the pair from an auction, local auction. Not that I'm trying to save money. I don't go out of my way to, to save money. But when it comes up and you see what it is and nobody else bidding on the auction knows what it is, you got to have it, ain't you? This bag here is for me fishing. Well, not the seats. Oh, stonking great compressor under there that my brother sold me from his factory. And here's another piece of equipment in the garage that I'd forgotten about, but it could be useful. What do you think? This piece looks like a piece of 1.5 inch square with another piece of 1.5 inch square on it, and it goes all the way across the garage, across the pillar. Get it in line then, shall I, with my finger? And it goes the other way. What it's designed to do is to come this side of the pillar and sit there on the floor, not up here, but on the floor, so that I can pull against it, because I had a lovely 1936 MG, which was a bit of a wreck. It was a restoration project, but it weighed a couple of tons, and I got to get it in the garage. The engine obviously wasn't working. It'd been in the field for about 25 years. So I made that to put it there, and then I've got an electric 12-volt winch somewhere to pull it into the garage, which I did a couple of times. But that is a complete digression. This isn't. This is obviously a beam goes across the pillars, and that is for lifting engines, etc. Heavyweight stuff. However, there's a bit of a bonus now, because it's actually a U section. This is the bottom of the U section. So I've got two edges up there, and I've had a thought. What about making a carriage to sit on there, a movable carriage, so that I can have a crane on there to lift the loco. So I can lift the loco onto the bench and then roll it across here onto a truck or something. What do you think? I reckon it's worth doing. Yeah, I'll give that a go. Well, I've just got back from the the Midland Model Engineering Show at Leamington. And here's my haul, look. All right, yeah. 11.5 quid. It wasn't bad. It was worth going. I don't know whether I'd go again though, because I don't like the crowds. I don't know why. I'll tell you what, I don't know why people have to go when they're not interested. Clearly not interested. I mean, my missus is into needlework and craft stuff, and she goes to shows, and she doesn't drive, so I go. But I take something and sit in the car. I mean, we could afford to go in, but why go in and just clutter the place up? I just sit in the car. So I just don't get why people just go round and then just stand in the middle and just get in the way. Oh, anyway, that's just me. But anyway, Model Engineers Laser, they do these, look. They laser cut these out. These are BA sizes, but they do metric as well. So that was a £5, that was okay. My hammer, been meaning to get one of these, a proper one, for ages. That's soft and very soft. Yeah, the difference. Yeah, and it's a Thor. I was going to get one of them from Screwfix, but they were there. They were a little bit cheaper, I think, but not much. These Eclipse blades, bimetal. I looked into these. You know, they say if something looks too good to be true, it probably is. These were £1.50 each. I bought 3 of them, but I did buy some cheap ones years ago from somewhere like that, and all the teeth fall off as soon as you use them. So I was going to buy some from Screwfix, but they were £2.5 each. I think it was a £5 for 2 blades. I only bought 3 because I think it'll take me ages to use 3 anyway. But we'll see how they go. And I brought some proper marking out blue. I asked him about these little rulers. They don't do them anymore. Where are they? These. I asked him about these, because they used to give you one of these free every time you bought something. But they didn't this time, which is a shame, but because because I could do with another. Well, I've got a couple anyway, but. So, yeah, and I didn't get the plans. The Model Engineers Emporium are going to look for some used plans for me to see if they've got any. And if they don't come through, I'll have to order some new ones. But hey ho,